Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, The College Process. Once again, I'm Ed from Principia Prep, and today we're going to be going over, should I transfer colleges? But before we begin, if you are new to the channel and are looking for additional college content, please hit the subscription button down below. It will notify you when new videos do come out. As well as we are continuing to run every Friday, whatever questions you guys have, any comments you have, any specific questions you need answered on this video or any other videos on your channel, we are doing every Friday. Any questions you put on these videos, we're putting another video on YouTube every Friday answering all the questions you guys leave on our videos here in detailed format, basically so that way you guys get all the details you need to answer all the questions you guys have. So in addition to that, we are also still running the James Russo Memorial Scholarship. If you are looking for scholarship help for your student going off to college, we do give out scholarships here at Principia Prep every year to seniors going off to college. If you want more information about our scholarship program, very simple, just watch the James Russo Memorial Scholarship. In the description down below is the video link. Also down below in the description is also our Venmo as well as the organization's Buy Us Coffee if you want to help us continue making these college videos for you guys out there. And all that being said, let's jump right into today's video. Should I transfer colleges? Now with semester over and college basically going into hiatus for a couple of months here while the student takes summer vacation, a lot of students have been coming back home, meeting with their friends, talking about their college experiences, the social life, the classes, the professors, and everything else going on in the world of college. And some students are maybe coming to the realization the college they're at maybe not the right place for them, either socially, academically, or maybe it's a financial consideration as well. And what I'm going to go over today is there's essentially three different types of students here in the world of college that consider transferring. I'm going to go over all three of the groups and see if you guys watching here might fall into one of those groups. And by the way, when it comes to transferring and changing major, it's a commonplace thing in the sense that 1 out of every 3 students that are at a college at some point in time will either change their major or consider transferring or will transfer. If you're considering transferring, it's a commonplace thing. But first, let's go over the 3 different groups of transfer students to see if you fall into one of these groups and some ideas of what you may want to consider doing and also what you may not want to consider doing. Now, of the 3 groups, let's start with group number 1. The typical student that wants to transfer, usually the student that went on campus with the best intentions. They wanted to be there. They thought this was the dream college. Everything in the beginning stages made sense to them. The social aspects, the academic aspects, networking, career paths, the financial cost wasn't a big burden in their eyes in the beginning. And then maybe things after the first year have changed. Maybe socially it's not what you thought it was. Maybe you thought it was a place where you can meet a lot of friends, be social all the time, people are doing things on the weekends, and then you find out most of the students on the weekends unfortunately leave the campus. Maybe they go home, maybe nobody stays on campus during the week. So that might be something that's kind of throwing you off. Or academically you just didn't feel the right fit. Either the professors didn't kind of click with you, or the academics were too hard, or maybe they were too easy in some cases. And also, obviously, there's a financial consideration. After every year, every family should sit down and look at the finances. How much do we take out this year? Are we going to be getting the same kind of financial aid package next year to keep the cost where we want it to be? Because of the fact that, let's say you're sitting down, you're looking at the numbers, and the first year's cost, let's just use an average number. Once again, the average cost I see here in the tri-state area, the Northeast typically for students going to college, is between $40,000 to $45,000. And you may be looking at the loan numbers and thinking, okay, the first year we had a $45,000 loan, let's say, just the average I typically see here in the tri-state area. And we're looking at basically paying $500 a month going forward for the next 10 years on a standard repayment. And you might be thinking, okay, $500 wasn't so bad in the beginning, but now we're looking to add another loan for next year. And now since the college increasing cost, and obviously every year college is increasing cost between 3 to 6%, our $500 loan maybe goes to, let's say, $550. If every year it goes up an extra $50, the first year we kind of felt okay with $500, but do we feel comfortable with $500 on top of then $550 on top of then $600 on top of then maybe $650 to $700? Do we feel comfortable being in an over $2,000 number? If we don't feel comfortable being that number, then obviously this may not be the right place for you to be. And then group number 2 is kind of what I call like in the middle group here. As far as the students that went to the college, had a good time, enjoyed the social aspects, enjoyed the academics, everything else, like the colleges, maybe you're okay with the college financial cost, not in love with it. So essentially across the board, everything seems to be okay. You're not in love with the situation, but you hear stories about other colleges, the social atmosphere, or the academic situation, or the labs, or whatever it may be. And you're thinking to yourself, maybe there's somewhere else I need to go, or maybe there's somewhere else I should consider in the process of the whole situation. So you're not really in group 1, where you're really just disillusioned with the whole process, and you're really looking to move on. You're almost like complete foot out the door situation, doors opening up, you're ready to leave. This group here in the middle, you guys are kind of okay. You're thinking about putting your foot in the door, but you're not 100% sure. So you're kind of in the middle here. Now that's group number 2. And now for group number 3, you guys already knew you were going to leave. You are basically using the school as a stepping stone. So essentially, for group number 3, if you guys, let's say for the first year you went to your secondary choice school, because maybe your first choice school didn't accept you or put you on the wait list and you didn't get taken off the wait list, Or another situation is you already knew this school is going to be a stepping stone academically speaking. So you already knew transferring was a key component, whether it's after the first semester, after the first year, after the first 2 years. That's group number 3. Now, of these 3 different groups, I'm going to go backwards here and talk about things you should consider and things you should be doing going forward with all 3 groups here if you're considering doing the transfer process. Now, starting with group number 3, the real question here for you guys is, even if you guys were using this school, let's say it's a safety school, a transfer school, a foundational school, where you knew I was going to do well academically, then go somewhere else, for you guys, I would obviously sending out transfer applications to other colleges. Basically, every school you're considering, I would be sending out applications to them. And then as the applications are starting to come back with the acceptances and everything else, the first question I would be asking myself is this a big enough jump for me to consider leaving the school I'm already at? From this perspective, is the other schools, are they offering more than where you are right now? In the sense that academically, let's say you just knocked it out of the park, you did extremely well. Let's say you got on the dean's list, you got a 3.5, 3.6, and you're considering maybe going to grad school. Would it make sense for you to leave the school you're at where you're just killing it basically, academically speaking, and then taking yourself and putting yourself in a more challenging environment where, in a sense that you're not just challenged as far as the academics of your own, you're also challenged by the group of other students you're going against. So if you go to the highest tier schools, your 3.7, 3.8 GPA, where you are right now, might be phenomenal. But if you take a 3.7, 3.8, is it going to be phenomenal at the highest levels of colleges, at the Harvards, the Stanfords, the MITs, etc.? This is especially important if you're considering graduate school. So you might be looking at the point of view of, do I feel comfortable where I am academically, and if I'm killing it here, does it make sense for me to go to another school, a more difficult school, let's call it a more higher tier school, where I'm adding more competition to my ability to get into the grad school I'm considering later on? Just things to think about. Also, you should look at it also from a career path, networking, so on and so forth. Is the college I'm at right now, is it offering everything I need for my career path to just take off? Or if it's not, then obviously it makes sense to transfer to the next school. But if it is providing enough assistance, or if it's providing more assistance at the school you're at right now, then the school you're considering transferring to, that's another consideration to think about. Obviously, using college to go into the career path is what every student is doing. That's what college is really there for, to provide you the path to career. Now, the school you're at, even though it might not be the right school for you as far as what you think it should be, as far as the best sweater available to you, let's call it, is it offering everything it should? Academically, socially, networking opportunities, career path opportunities. And then obviously the financial consideration is a big component here, and so is housing. Good, bad, or indifferent, for many schools, once you transfer as a transfer student, you are not looked upon the same as you are as an incoming freshman. Which means, if the school you're at right now, if you're good with it, you like the school, you like everything about it, and they offer you a great financial aid package, the next question should be, the next school I'm transferring to, or the dream school I'm thinking about, or the school I need to get into for whatever reason, are they offering the same kind of financial stability here? If the school I'm at right now is giving me 50, 60, 70% off because I took a step down in tier, and they wanted me because I'm an academically strong student, is that school's financial package really worth giving up if the other school isn't stepping up? Now, obviously, the other school is stepping up financially, then it doesn't really make sense, move on. But if the school I'm at right now is giving me a massive discount, and that obviously allows me when I graduate, whether I go to grad school or not, to start off my life with minimum amount of debt or maybe very little to no debt, then obviously that's a big consideration. We have to consider, as I talked about before, the cost-wise here, if you are looking at that $45,000, $50,000+ a year school, you're going to be looking at $2,000 plus of debt. If the school I'm at right now is giving me a ton of financial assistance, grants, scholarships, everything else available under the sun because they want me as a student, that might not be the bad situation here. Because once again, many colleges, as I talked about in many of my videos, it doesn't matter where you go. As long as you maximize the opportunities of that college, you're going to be successful. So for group number 3, the ones that are basically thinking, I'm out of here tomorrow, make sure you can still apply to the other schools, but make sure everything lines up. Are the academic opportunities the same or better? Are the networking opportunities the same or better? My financial aid consideration, is it the same or better? If it's not a bad idea to maybe consider staying put where you are. Now let's go backwards. Once again, we're going backwards here. Group number 2 here, let's talk about you guys now. As far as the people are not sure if they want to stay, they like it, but they don't love the situation. What are the considerations we should have in place here? And obviously right off the bat, you want to look at the financial considerations right off the bat. If we leave, will the financial considerations be similar or better? If you're good with the school you're at and you like the academics, the social, and everything else going on, then one of the first questions you need to ask yourself is, what are the cost ramifications of me leaving? Because of the fact that if you transfer, many schools as a transfer student will not be as generous to you as an incoming freshman, just the way the game works, good, bad, or indifferent. Whether you did amazing in the school you're transferring from and you're coming in with a 4.0 out of a 4.0 scale, in many cases they're still not going to give you anywhere near the scholarship money they would have gave you if you're an incoming freshman from high school. So obviously the financial consideration for group number 2 is a big consideration here. Now when it comes to group number 2, just like group number 3, I'm still transferring or I'm still sending out applications for transfer to see who accepts me. Now for both groups number 3 and group number 2, the reality is for you guys, since you're kind of in the mix where you might stay where you are, the benefit of applying to other colleges is you don't have to leave the college you're at. And what I mean by that is, if you're thinking, okay, I like it, but I'm not in love in either group 3 or 2, what I'm doing is I'm sending out a bunch of applications, seeing who accepts me, and then I'm looking to consider my options. Let's say you're at a school you're okay with. Let's say you get accepted to 5 other schools. Of those 5 other schools, you're considering 2 of them, really considering 2 of them as options to transfer. What you can do is you can actually push off your acceptance. You can say to both those schools, thank you for the acceptance, but I'm not coming this next term. I'd love to come the term after. So if you accept me for the fall term, I'm considering coming in for the spring term. And considering giving the school you're at another chance, another semester to see if it really solidifies in your mind, I gotta go, or I'm gonna stay. So the reality is for groups 3 and 2, you guys should apply to other colleges. You should definitely apply to other colleges, but also put in the back of your mind, we need to review all the aspects of whether it makes sense to go or not from a bunch of different perspectives. And obviously the last group here, group number 1 for you guys here, nothing has worked out. You guys have already went to the college and nothing is working out. Maybe your roommate was terrible. Maybe the dorm rooms were terrible. Maybe the food was terrible. Maybe the academic situation, you didn't understand the professors, or it wasn't working out, or academically it was just way over the top. It was just too much for you to handle. Or you know that the graduate acceptance at college and you're now considering grad school is just terrible for your major, and there's no career opportunities, there's no resume building situations at the college, whether it be through research or work study or community service available at the college or any clubs. Let's just say nothing is working out. You don't like being this far away from home, or the weather is terrible. Basically everything is working against you at this college. For you guys, obviously, it's 100% transfer situation here. But for you guys, I'm considering a few different things here. One of the questions I'm considering is, if I'm looking to transfer, how much time do I have available before the deadlines are available for the transfer applications? Have I already reached the limit where I can't get into the next semester, I gotta wait another semester again? One of the questions would be there is, do I consider just going back home and taking community college credits rather than going back to this college specifically that nothing is working out? That's one of the questions I would be asking a transfer student, or asking myself if I'm a transfer student, is school year has ended, going into the summer, I already know I don't want to go back. I don't like anything about the college. Then one of the questions I'm asking myself right at the bat is, does it even make sense for us to go back for the fall semester? Or do I just forego the fall semester and consider going to community college while I'm doing my transfer stuff to get ready to go off to another college? Because if you don't like being there, then one of the main factors, obviously, since we're talking cost here, because college is not a cheap thing anymore, is if I'm spending 50, 60, 70,000 a year, doesn't make sense essentially in paying half of that to the college every semester. Doesn't make sense for me to pay another 25, 30, 35 grand for another semester for a place that I dread, that I don't want to be at. And believe me, this happens sometimes. Sometimes you have the best intentions, so does college, and things just don't work out. It's perfectly fine to transfer. Once again, I said, most students, 1 out of every 3 students, typically transfers or changes their major. So this is commonplace. Because the reality is, at some point in time, you're going to hate being there. You're going to stop going to class. You're going to stop doing the homework. You're going to stop going to labs. Academically, things are going to fall apart because you don't want to be there. Mentally, you don't feel comfortable being there. You don't want to be there. Things are going to start falling apart, and that's not what you want. You don't want a lost semester, a lost year, because that really doesn't mean just lost amount of grades or credits. What it really means is lost time. A lost semester, you can't get back. A lost year, you can't get back. And financially, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars here. So if nothing has worked out and you're in that group where, look, I gotta leave, then leave. There's no need for you to stay somewhere you don't want to be. There's a lot of other colleges out there. There's 4,000 plus schools out there. Let's look for another school that makes more sense for you for everything you're looking for. And if you don't want to go back for the extra semester while you wait for the transfer portal window to be available, as far as you've already missed a deadline for this upcoming semester, then don't go back and consider going to county and live at home for a semester or two. In 3 or 4 years after you graduate college, I guarantee you, you're gonna be 100% more happy with that situation than grinning and bearing it and going back to a college you don't want to be in. And other than that, thank you guys for watching today's video. Are continuing to run every Friday, whatever questions you guys have, any comments you have, any specific questions you need answered on this video or any other videos on your channel. We are doing every Friday, any questions you put on these videos. We're putting another video on YouTube every Friday answering all the questions you guys leave on our videos here in detailed format, basically so that way you guys get all the details you need to answer all the questions you guys have. As well as if you guys want additional help, one-on-one help, I do meetings with parents and students through Zoom, helping out with the college process of any sort, financial aid, admissions, essays, a whole gambit. So any help you guys need out there, just make sure to reach out to me. That's my cell phone number on the screen. The easiest way to reach me is by text message. I do answer back all my text messages within 24 hours. So if you need to sit down with me, you need more individual one-on-one help, I am available for consultations to help you guys out. And other than that, thank you for watching today's video. Once again, my name is Ed from Principia Prep.